Welcome to another edition of Reaching Out. I'm Gregory Floyd, President, Local 237 Teamsters. With me, I have a very special guest from across the river, Councilman John Sharpe James. He is a Juris Doctorate, and he is a lifelong Newark member, lifelong Newark resident. John grew up in the Weequahic section of Newark's South Ward. He attended St. Benedict's Preparatory School, Morehouse College, majoring in English, and Rutgers Newark Law School, earning a Juris Doctorate. While in college, John joined the United States Army Reserves and Georgia Tech ROTC program to later be commissioned by the New Jersey Army National Guard as a second lieutenant infantry officer. Over the next 19 years, John went through various classes and assignments such as Airborne School, Infantry Officer School, mortar training, and tow missile training before being promoted to Major. Major James served a one-year tour of combat duty in Afghanistan from September 2007 through September 2008 as an infantry ground commander against the Taliban and anti-coalition forces. Major James also sustained injuries when he was blown up by enemy explosive device which detonated under his vehicle. Major James retired from the Army in 2009 with numerous awards, accolades, to include a Purple Heart Medal, Combat Infantryman Badge, Meritorious Service Medal. In November 2013, Mr. James was elected Councilman at Large at the City of Newark to serve out the remaining term of Congressman Donald Payne Jr.'s council term as he was elected to Congress. Councilman James was elected to the South Ward seat for a full term in May 2014, where he still serves today. Now, I usually don't go through everyone's bio that long, but Councilman James's bio and his life history and his lead up called for that. So, Councilman, welcome to Reaching Out.
Well, thank you, George, for having me on. And, I'm a proud advocate for unions. We definitely need unions in America. My brother works out at the port, and union and Teamsters are a good way for someone to earn a good, solid income and support their families. And they definitely need the protections versus individuals working for corporations.
Now, I met you in Weequahic Park at a house music festival because I like listening to house music. So I came over to see that young DJ, that talent you have over in New Jersey, 14-year-old Just the DJ. So I came to see him play live because I was watching him online. So I wanted to meet the young man and want to listen to him live. And I noticed the banner with your picture there. So about an hour later, I noticed you standing there. I decided to come over and introduce myself. And I said, we got to get him for Reaching Out because we don't get many elected officials from New Jersey. And I like to bring a fresh voice and a fresh face on the air. So with that being said, I have so many questions to ask, but I have so little time. So I guess I would start with, what got you started in politics and public service? Because your Army history, your career, tell us what led you to politics and what led you to also dovetail that into the military service.
Okay, well, I believe I'm really not a politician. I'm really a public servant. And I think it means commitment to, trying to help your community. And I have come from a family of public servants. My father was a former mayor of Newark, New Jersey. And so, being involved with community events through his campaigns, it just led me to, be the best person I could be. And that meant, completing education, participating in various community events, and eventually, the military service, coming home, and then running for public office. So that's kind of all came together because I was in that environment already, being out in the community, people knowing who I am, and, really just trying to help Newark residents and those beyond.
Now you mentioned your father, Mayor Sharpe James, and of course, we remember him, Mayor Sharpe James. And when I saw your name, I looked and asked somebody, they said, yes, that's his son. I said, well, he comes from good genes. And then reading your bio, you took the place of former Councilman Donald
Payne Jr.
Payne Jr.
Yeah.
And I knew his father. I met his father once.
Right.
So I mean, the history of and second generation elected officials in coming out of Newark is something that should be written about and probably will be written about. And I'm honored to have you on as continuing that that legacy. So tell me, what led you to join the military and have a career in the military service?
Okay, so when I went to Morehouse College, I had wrestled for 4 years in St. Benedict's Prep. And I got to Morehouse College. In college, now you're not working out so much, and I just said, hey, I'm used to routine. I'm used to, running during lunch and staying in shape. And, I thought the first reason was, I'd be able to, stay in shape if I joined the military. Secondly, but more importantly, I said, if any wars come up, I will already be trained because, I saw what happened in Vietnam. People were drafted, they weren't prepared. They did their best when they were over there, but I wanted to be fully prepared if a war did happen. And so Morehouse College is under the Georgia Tech ROTC system. They said, if you want to join, we won't interfere with your college. You can do training on the weekends, training during the summer. You do the basic training next summer, advanced training the following summer. So there was no break in my classes or my education. And that's why I joined, for those main two reasons.
Oh, those are good reasons. You want to be prepared. I remember the Vietnam War. You want to be prepared in case you had to go, and you want to keep in shape and work out. Mm-hmm. So tell us about leading up to being commissioned as an officer. Being a second lieutenant, and having the rank of major. Tell us about those achievements.
Okay, so the funny thing is, at first I joined the Army Reserves as a regular private. So I went through regular basic training and regular medical training. I was administrative training for the medical unit I was in. I was in a medical unit in Georgia. And then my junior year, somebody said, hey, do you know you can join ROTC? And you can, instead of being a private or a sergeant or what have you, you can become an officer. I said, an officer? Get out of here. So my junior and senior year, I joined the ROTC. And then once you complete that, when I got back home, then I joined the National Guard as a second lieutenant. Just so you know, there are enlisted ranks, which go from private all the way up to command sergeant major. And then your officer ranks start out with second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, and then general and all up. So those who don't know. So came to New Jersey as second lieutenant, had various assignments. I was we had a flood in Rochelle Park. They sent us there. We took care of the residents, secured their homes, all that happened. Various other instances. Most recently, during September 11th, we were put on active duty for a month. We had to guard the PATH train station in Journal Square, both the station and the parking deck. We also guarded the Harrison train yard. We were based out of that time, the Jersey City Armory. So I've been in the station, the Jersey City Armory, Newark Armory, various Riverdale Armory, various positions throughout the state, various training opportunities. Again, the mortar platoon leader I was at one point, 11 Hotel anti-tank tow company commander at one point. And it's just, if you do the right thing, you don't self-eliminate, you don't break the rules, you don't get in trouble with the law, and you do all your courses, you get steadily promoted. So I got promoted again from second lieutenant to first lieutenant. then to captain, and then to major.
Wow. You're listening to Reaching Out. I'm Gregory Floyd, President, Local 237 Teamsters. With us, our very special guest, and I say from across the river, Newark, New Jersey, Councilman John Sharpe James. Now, I have to ask you, what is your vision? I mean, the festival that came up, that comes up every year, we Quake Festival. First of all, that park, that's the first time I've ever been to that park. First time I've ever heard of the park.
Wow.
And there, I was stunned. I was stunned at the facilities. You have a nice football fields, baseball fields, the practice facilities. The park is immaculate. You have a first-class Olympic track. I mean, the facility, anybody has an opportunity to go over there, the park is really, really beautiful. It is, I guess, a flagship of Newark, because I was just happy to be there. I mean, I might find myself over there taking a drive with plenty of parking just to sit there and just watch what goes on there. So
Not a problem.
Tell us how that park came about.
So Weequahic Park is part of the park system created by the Olmsted brothers. I want to say they did Central Park also, but don't quote me on that. But I believe Essex County has one of the largest county park systems in the state. And in the past, the park was kind of like a passive park, but under the leadership of County Executive Joseph DiVincenzo, we've added a number of fields, as you saw, renovated the tracks, renovated the golf course. It's just phenomenal. And there's just so many uses that can come out of it now. The playground, and since you were there, we completed the grand opening for the field house, which was that huge building that was under construction behind the stage
I did
at the top of the hill. So we actually had a groundbreaking. So that's going to serve seniors. We have a number of senior programs going on in there. There's a playground on the other side of that building, which you couldn't see from the House Music Festival. And then again, on the other side of the playground, there is the track and field. Several professional teams have flag football agreements or arrangements with local park associations and groups, Weequahic Sports Authority. And so there's fishing at the park, people fishing there every day. The golf course is there. College sports, softball, baseball goes on, as well as community softball, baseball. There's basketball on the other side, another area of the park. And it's just phenomenal, the amount of use. We saw the House Music Festival, we have fireworks there, we have the Universal Soul Circus comes once a year. Just a number of things that the park is being used for. And again, I just want to thank the county executive, Joseph DiVincenzo, a partnership with the city of Newark, led by Honorable Mayor Ras Baraka, and myself, the South Ward Councilman. And I want to see the best use for the park. And I think you just saw in that short period of time, a small aspect of what that park is capable of.
Yes, and I did see nice basketball courts. So I imagine you have a basketball tournament in the summertime there.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so let's see. You have Newark is known. You got the Prudential Center there. You have the park there. You have Seton Hall close by. So you have college sports. At one time you had the Nets before they moved to Brooklyn. You had that there. You had the hockey team because you have the Devils. Do the Devils still play there?
Yes, they do.
They still play there. So what do you see your vision? And matter of fact, you have one of my favorite radio stations. I used to be a board member, WBGO. We has to come for the board meeting.
Smooth jazz.
Yes. So you have that, and then you have is it the music center? You have a performing arts center for jazz?
Yes, we do. New Jersey PAC.
New Jersey PAC. That's correct. Yes. Correct. New Jersey.
We have that also.
Yes.
So, I mean, our vision is to continue to be a destination city under the leadership of Mayor Ras Baraka. We need to work on more affordable housing. So that's what we're doing now. We have new zoning acts and ordinances where if you build over 30 units, you have to have 20% affordable. We want to help the housing authority build more affordable units. But ultimately, we want everyone to move to the city of Newark. We want to sell every abandoned building. We want to build on every vacant lot. We ultimately, at one point, Newark had a population of 500,000. Right now, we're at 300,000. I don't know whether we'll get back to that 500,000, but we just want to make sure we stabilize our tax base. We take advantage of every new incentive, with the new marijuana dispensary, with the new opportunity zones offered by the state and the federal government. So we want to take care of every economic resource so that we can keep building, keep growing, welcoming new individuals, and for our seniors or those who own homes, make sure their taxes don't continue to rise. I believe this tax rate, it stayed the same for the first time in a long time. And that's, of course, due to fiscal responsibility by the mayor and the council, the county, the school board. And once we fully come out of COVID, we expect to have more revenue coming in as we get more tourism, traffic, whether it be mass transportation or just tourism in general. Because we know with COVID, our hotels have not had as many visitors as they would have normally had. Our restaurants haven't had as much business as they would have had. And we want to continue to be the largest and the best city in the state of New Jersey and be a model for other urban cities. Just a couple things. We had a lead situation with those who had homes and lead service lines. Newark rapidly replaced those lead service lines, which allowed us to make our water system more modern. And again, we want to take the lead and be more progressive so that other cities can learn from Newark and follow our lead.
Okay. Now, I would be remiss in not asking you this question because I want to know, you were serving in the military, you're retired now. So yes. I guess I could ask you a question about Afghanistan. How do you think the withdrawal went, or anything you want to tell me about Afghanistan?
Well, I think it was a failure as far as nation building. We originally went over there for one mission to tackle Al-Qaeda, and then somewhere along the way it became, we're going to try and make a democratic government, and they have a different culture. They're focused on religion and farming, and that is not the same as the tapestry we have in the United States, more capitalism and other endeavors. And so democracy wasn't a good fit. Their country is heavily divided, never had a central government. And so when you try in and create a central government, just like in the Wild Wild West, when we just had different Indian tribes all throughout the United States, they don't know what you're talking about. They're just a farmer in their little town. They speak different languages. And well, what are you trying to say as a president now? What are you trying to say? We're under one government now. All I know is I have my field, I have to grow my crops, I have to support my family, I have my custom and tribal traditions. So again, we should never have stayed in there that long, but whether we pulled out 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the withdrawal would have been the same. They would have wanted us to stay. We spent a lot of money over there, money which could have been spent here in the United States, could have been helping seniors, could have been helping homeowners. So when I was over there from 07 to 08, and I kept hearing all the negative economic times were happening here in the States, I couldn't just think, why are we over here when we really needed, back home, stimulus money and other programs and grants, infrastructure programs that can hire the Teamsters and others, construction projects for our agent railway and roadway and bridge systems. We could have been spending that money here. And surely, within 4 days after we left, it fell back into chaos. And I guess it's going to go back to where it was 20 years ago. So I'm glad we pulled out. I'm glad there were no more lives lost. I lost some friends over there. There are individuals who did not come back 100% mentally and or physically. And so it definitely took a toll. on our soldiers and those who support our soldiers, and the families of those who either lost their loved one or their loved one came back handicapped or disabled.
Now, that was something that I thought, and you broke it down. It's just a different culture, and we couldn't force our will on them. And leaving, I look back and I hear the criticism of, well, the president didn't leave orderly. I don't know how you leave a war
Right.
orderly. I'm like realistically, I'm like, what are you going to do? You say, okay, time out, don't shoot. I mean,
Right.
I saw him doing the best he can. He was getting in
Right.
gear, but the war, the agreement to leave was agreed upon by the previous president,
Right.
Donald
Right.
Trump, and
Right.
he wanted it by May 1st. And
Right.
going from May 1st to August 31st was an extension to begin with. And I
Right.
see Republicans forgetting and said, we want an extension. You had one from May 1st to August 31st.
Right.
So it just blew my mind. I said, we're rewriting something that was done. Or you want us to forget? The man
and then another argument was, well, they left them Jeeps, they left them rifles. You know, we're gonna have another September 11th. September 11th, those hijackers used box cutters. Okay, they didn't use rifles, they didn't use military equipment. And when you build up an area for 20 years of military occupancy, you can't just bring all the equipment back. That would give a heads up that you're leaving. The military, you know, that equipment, in the end, it's not going to affect operations here in the United States. All of the sensitive items were destroyed. Any aviation assets or equipment that was left, they dismantled it to make it inoperable to the best of their ability. But you can't sneak out of a country and bring all your equipment with you. It just can't, you know? It just doesn't work that way.
Well, I'm glad because you know, you were there, you know what you talk about, you're a military man. And I listened to all the amateurs talking about the what ifs.
Right,
like,
right.
I think about it logically, it's impossible.
And the cost, I mean, we spent close to what, $2 trillion or something, supporting that country for 20 years. Now imagine if we had that 2 trillion here in the United States, you know, giving every homeowner maybe, you know, a $5,000 or $1,000 home rebate check or something like that, or helping schools and their budgets and everything. I mean, we talk about, you know, non-taxpayers. The Afghan government weren't paying us taxes. They were reaping the benefits of our financing, resources, and military assets.
That's right. That's right. So when you logically think about it, it didn't make sense to be there. Let me ask you about a question about COVID. How is the, I would say the COVID vaccination, the COVID strategy working in Newark?
Well, I know our numbers are not where they should be. The mayor and the council and the city administration, we are trying to push out to get more people vaccinated. You know, every outdoor event, we've had vaccination sites set up. And it's just, number one, a lot of individuals are adverse to healthcare. I mean, they don't get checked up until it's time for emergency room. That's something we have to deal with more community clinics. Other than that, you know, historically, there have been racial aspects to medicine in our community. Everyone keeps bringing up Tuskegee Airmen. I mean, not Tuskegee Airmen, but the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. And that did happen, and it's unfortunate, but that doesn't mean all medication is negative. And this is a health crisis. We're trying to keep it from spreading. So we are encouraging everyone to get vaccinated. Is everything 100% foolproof? Has it been rolled out quickly? Yes, only because it's an emergency. Over 1,000 people died in the city of Newark. We want that number to go down. We have the new Delta variant out now. And to those who are afraid of getting vaccinated, I mean, when I grew up, there were polio shots, there were smallpox, chickenpox shots. I took shots for swine flu. So And in the military, we take shots for overseas duty, for malaria.
Yes.
I've taken the anthrax shots, and I was able to complete law school and get a Juris Doctorate with that. No side effects. So it is something we're asking to try and keep this infection from spreading. That is why we're doing it. There's no ulterior motive. Of course, individuals have the options not to take it if they have religious reasons or they're just strongly against it. But until the majority of Newarkers and beyond take it, I don't think we'll get a good handle on it.
So, and I also want to say, it's been talked about in the news. Nicki Minaj said all these things against the vaccination. I said, I'm listening and I'm watching women put things in their body that enhance their beauty, going to other countries and putting God knows what in there.
Right.
And we're talking about vaccinations. I said, really?
Right. And exposing themselves to COVID-19 when they travel overseas on a plane to another country.
Things just don't make sense, but that's where we are. So, Councilman, I want to really thank you for coming on, reaching out. We could probably reach out to you again and ask you to come back. We get some more questions to ask you, or if you have something that you want to get out, feel free, reach out. We'll do a show if you think something that we should cover somebody or anything that you think needs to be spoken about on the air. You have an open invitation. We're a phone call away. Just please do that. I'm Gregory.
Thank you. I want one last shout out. I want to wish my grandmother a happy birthday. Last Monday, the 13th September, she turned 107.
Oh,
happy birthday, Beulah Fluke. I love you, Grandma.
God bless her.
Yes.
On that
in
note,
1914.
On that note, Gregory Floyd reaching out. Maybe we should have her on here just to say hello. You've been listening to Reaching Out. Very special guest, Councilman John Sharpe James. Thank you for coming on Reaching Out. You really made our program.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Greg.
Thank you.